All right. Hi, I'm Third, and I'm going to be submitting 4D Golf Marble Mode to AGDQ 2025. I'm really looking forward to the event. Here with me commentating, I have Ozmourn. If you want to say something, I guess.
Hello, my name is Ozmourn. I absolutely love 4D golf. I'm familiar with a lot of the mechanics myself, having played it and having watched a lot of Third run this game. I played this game with him, and it was absolutely a blast. And I'm super excited to see the run.
Cool. So for this submission, I am going to start off with about a 2-minute explanation of how 4D works, because 4D is, this is a very novel concept to be put in a game, and the game gives you lots of tools to make 4D as intuitive as possible, but if you don't know how the tools work, it's very hard to understand what's going on. So at the beginning, before we actually start the speedrun, I'm gonna do a 2-minute long demo on one of the first levels just to explain how that works. So because I think that'll just make the run more enjoyable and more understandable. So, and yeah, with that, we'll go ahead with the actual submission. So I'll just start as if we're at the event, and yeah, we'll go from there. So, all right, welcome everybody. I'm Third, and here with me I have Ozmourn.
Hello. My name is Ozmourn. I'm super excited to be here helping commentate this run of 4D golf with Third here. I have played a good bit of this game with him, and I absolutely love all the mechanics it has to offer, and I'm super excited to see the run and help commentate.
Absolutely. I'm very grateful for Ozmourn for being here. And this is 4D golf. And no, that's not a joke. It's not an exaggeration. It's not like saying 4D to be cool. It is truly 4D. And as the name also suggests, it's golf. But I'm a marble player, and this game has a built-in marble mode, which lets you just roll around the ball like it's a marble. So that's what we're going to be playing today. I'm going to be playing 4D golf marble mode, all courses. Now I'm going to start off, before we actually start the run, I'm going to give a brief demo of how 4D works, because it's a very novel concept to be put into a video game. And it's pretty hard to understand what's going on and how all the tools help you out if you haven't seen it before. So let's go ahead and start that now. So here's 4D golf, and here's one of the first levels in the game. And right off the bat, it looks like there's a dead end. Like, what can we do here? We're already stuck. Well, as you might guess, this world is 4-dimensional, and we're 3D beings, so we can only see 3 dimensions at a time. But what I can do is, if you look in the top right corner, there's a compass, and if I click and drag, I can rotate this compass, and that's also rotating my perspective in this 4D world. And now it reveals this path that I can go down. Note that the world itself is not morphing as I do this. I'm actually just rotating my perspective inside this world. And here this reveals another path, and right there you can see the hole that the ball's got to get into. Now at any given point we can only see 3 dimensions. There's always one direction that is completely hidden from us. And by changing this compass, we choose which direction that is. But another idea is, if we make it so up and down is the hidden direction, I can press a button, and now the entire world up and down is hidden. So it looks like there's no gravity, but actually gravity is just in the direction that's hidden, and we are rolling around inside a 3D volume. In 4D, flat surfaces are actually 3D volumes, and we can inhabit this entire volume and roll around in it. Now, one other thing, that this right here, this big green wall, that's actually the ramp, but it looks like a wall in this view. So another view that I can turn on is to actually disable seeing what's in my current slice of the world per se, and now I can actually see the entire 4D world but projected onto a 3D plane. I know it sounds kind of funny to say a 3D plane, but really it means I can see the entire level and I can navigate like this, and it means I can no longer see changes in height, so I can't see what's up and down in this view. So here you can see I'm rolling up slopes, even though it doesn't really look like it. But it's an incredibly useful view, and I'm going to be spending a lot of time in this view. So I hope that at least some of that made sense. And I have another button which can make you aim at the hole, so that's what I'm going to do. But this is 4D golf, and I hope that as you see the run, at least some of these things will start to become more clear. And if you do ever choose to go play the game, which I highly recommend, it's really good. The tools that they give you are really useful and honestly do make 4 dimensions intuitive. It's actually a really enjoyable experience. But with that, we're going to start the run. So this run is of all courses. Each course has a sort of 2 counterparts, the first 9 holes and the second 9 holes, which are the challenge. We're going to be playing all 18 holes of every course in this run, so all 126 holes in the game. And whenever we're ready, I think we'll just get started. Oh, looks like my auto splitter was going. I thought I told it to not. Okay, I'll just stop it. Okay, but with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started with the run in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. So this very first world that we're going to be going to is Evergreens. As T just explained, we're going to do the first 9 holes as standard levels, and then we're going to go into the challenges for every world. In Evergreens, it's pretty simple mechanics aside from the whole 4D aspect. And in marble mode, as you can see, it works as a very simple marble roller, as any other marble roller would. There's no strokes, there's no turns or anything like that. You just go straight from one end of the level to the other. In these first few levels, T doesn't even need to change any of the perspective in any way whatsoever. You can just stay in 3D and stay in this this standard mode. But in this next level, he's going to go into volumetric mode to make things a lot easier on himself. And so you're going to be seeing that as a bit of a common theme throughout the run. In certain levels where it's much harder to do it in just standard 3D view, he's going to go into volumetric mode right there. And including this level, it's very very useful in a level like this. And so, as you can see, there's a compass in the top right corner. Any direction that is pointing up and down is your forward and back. Any direction that is pointing right and left, of course, is your right and left. But any direction that is going towards and forward, towards and backwards, like towards the camera and back from the camera, is whatever the other direction is. And usually that is Ana and Kata. It usually starts off with north, south, east, west, and then Ana and Kata are the directions within the 4th dimension that we're going to be seeing.
Yeah, and speaking of Ana and Kata, I have strafe keys that can do that. So watch here. I'm going to go Kata and then Ana to go around that barrier here. And so once I look at that again, you can see that in 3D, it looks like there's a wall that's just completely impassable. But in 4D, you can get around it, and that's a pretty cool thing. And here we got some classic mini golf stuff. We got a pinwheel, except it's in 4D.
Exactly. This game kind of takes a lot of the classic mini golf tropes and just puts them on their head when it comes to the whole 4D aspect. All right, wonderful level by T-Hertz right there. That level is much easier to do in volumetric view, especially with all of the obstacles in the way. And so in these in this first few levels, as you can see, he's also going to take advantage of all of the bonking across the. Actually, I love this level. It's so mesmerizing to see just bonking all each and every corner. When I first saw you play this in a speedrun, but yeah, a lot of the level folds in on itself, but it doesn't really do that when you're in volumetric mode or in true 4D. And other levels are very simple like that.
They're ready to skip needing to go down the staircase of the staircase.
Yeah, exactly. So right now we're going to go straight through the challenge levels of Evergreens right here. And already within just the first few minutes, he's almost done with Evergreens completely. He's already on hole 14.
Yeah, and so this level, like a lot of levels, I go into volume view very early on because it makes navigating the levels a lot easier. But like I mentioned, it prevents you from being able to see where the slopes are. And so for that previous level where there were bridges, some of the bridges went up, some of the bridges went down. You need to know what the slopes are because even though you can't see them, they're still there and they still affect the trajectory of your of the golf ball.
Exactly. This level is more of a maze. I get lost in this maze all the time, and so the fact that T-Hertz is able to do it so cleanly is absolutely amazing.
It took me a while to learn the route, honestly.
Yeah.
In my casual playthrough.
All right, and we're on the final hole of Evergreens right here.
This level is called Marathon. There's a skip called Marathon Skip. It is not marathon safe, but I don't care. I'm going to do one attempt at this anyway, and if I get it, it'll be really cool.
It will be really
do an
cool.
edge hit. Oh, didn't get it. If I get an edge hit there, you can actually skip all the way to the end platform, and it saves like 15 seconds. But it's very hard. I've only gotten it like a couple times. But you have to go for it once, right? Come on.
You always have to go for it.
You got to go for it one time. If you get it, it'll be awesome. But
unfortunately, have to go the long way around. The walk of shame. Roll of shame.
The roll of shame. And this level is called Marathon. It's not a joke. This is the longest level in the game. It's a marathon. But you know, really we're at a marathon, so it fits, I think.
It does. It does. But now we're going to go into Dunes. Dunes has a lot more verticality in its level structure. Stuff that you can see very clearly when we go into volumetric mode. But it also has some more obstacles that isn't just like the level structure. It also has these guys, but also it's going to introduce sand pits that will slow you down if you roll in them for too long.
Yep. So
wait, go ahead.
Those shapes in that last level, they're spheres and they're cones at the same time, so I like to call them sphones. I don't know if that's actually what they're called, but I like to call them sphones.
Honestly, you should coin the term. You really should.
Someone else came up with it, not me.
Dang. I like this level. A lot of the ramps that you use right here.
Yep.
And as you can see here, it just looks like normal.
Yep. And so anytime you can take a level that's 4D and turn it into a 3D level with the right rotation, like here, I can basically ride up this ramp and we're on here. If you can turn a 4D level into a 3D level, it makes it so much easier to understand what's going on and easier to intuit what the best lines are. So here's another level I can do it. Basically, I just go up this, take this little shortcut. The name of the level is the shortcut. And yeah, that's something that's, if you can do that, it makes the game just so much mentally easier to understand what's going on.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's not always the easiest to do that. Like theoretically, you should be able to like put any any of the levels into 3D. But it's much harder to do that, especially in the speedrun setting. And so the volumetric mode helps so much. And so, with that being said, one thing that I just want to clarify is it's like this game is more than just your average golf game, or average marble rolling game. You do have to be you do also have to be like good at golf or good at marble rolling in order to like speedrun this game or to like really get good at this game. Like it's the 4D gimmick is absolutely amazing. And the puzzle solving aspect of like going through all the levels is great, but make no mistake, you do have to be good at golf at least a little bit, or marble rollers for that chance.
What's funny is I've seen a lot of comments about the game that's like, yeah, I get the 4D part pretty well because the game's tools make it so easy. I just suck at mini golf. And I just love those like reviews of the game.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing, I would say.
So right there, I tried to do a lineup to make it so the hole was visible right from the start, but I messed it up a little bit. It's okay. One of the things, I'm bonking on stuff now, but one of the things that's really important in the speedrun that I'm not doing a great job at right now is making sure that you pretty much land directly in the hole. In this game, you know, in some other marble games, their finish is sort of a big trigger, where if you enter the trigger at all, it counts as a finish. But in marble mode, it still works like it does in golf. The marble or the golf ball has to physically touch the inside white lining of the hole. If it does not touch the hole, it does not count. And so if you're bouncing, if you're just the tiniest bit in the air at all, it does not register as a finish. And it's also, because this is in 4D instead of 3D, the hole is smaller than it is in 3D. So there's more empty space because of the new dimension. And so it's also, even if you're not bouncing in the air, even if you're rolling on the ground, it's very easy to whiz by the hole and lose a lot of time.
Yeah, it really, really is. And so that's why it's best for viewers to try to manually aim whenever possible, instead of using, the center button, as you mentioned.
Now, some levels are comically not designed for marble mode. So this one here, you just press forward.
Yeah.
In golf mode, this level's actually pretty hard because you gotta land in these alcoves. It's harder than it looks, but in marble mode, it's not harder than it looks.
It is not harder than it looks. It's absolutely an amazing level. Just being able to finish it like that in 3D, much like this level. In this level, we are introduced to Arctic.
Oh, and here we got ice.
Ice. Yeah, everyone loves ice physics in their golf games, or their marble games in this case. And so in this level, we get introduced to ice and ice physics, and so the ice, you don't really have any friction. You can just keep on cruising with it. And so so this is like a level that I've like struggled with pretty difficultly. I will admit.
Yeah. One thing that I think is really interesting about routing this game is it's not just about routing where the marble moves. You also have to sort of route what tools do you use. When do you change your camera? When do you change 4D? When do you go into volume view? When do you turn on, you know, the sort of projection view? There's a lot, you know, it's more than just get to the finish. It's how do you use the tools that you have the most effectively, just so you can understand what's going on the best. And so that's an interesting part of the routing per se.
I remember you teaching me how to do this level in golf mode pretty well. With the slopes and the 4D aspects, it's really hard to master, I will say. Arctic has a lot of levels in which you don't have to go into volumetric mode whatsoever. You can just keep it in standard 3D view.
Here I only use volume view for a lineup, and then once I have it, I exit it so I can get that bounce. Oh, I missed. You want to land right in the hole. But getting that bounce like that, it's pretty much impossible if you can't see the marble's actual height. And so that's a really good use case of when not to use volume view.
Yeah, exactly. And so volume view, as great as it is, it's not like a catch-all. You do have to be like selective as to when you use it. Did you guys engulfed by the igloo?
That's a 4D igloo. I changed the camera so it looked like I was engulfed by it, which is enjoyable.
Nice.
And now we're on to the challenge Arctic levels. And so here there's this really big spike that you got to ride up, and you got to make sure you kind of keep your camera centered so that you can ride it up. Otherwise, it just kind of, if your camera isn't locked onto it, it kind of, the spike will disappear into the fourth dimension. So you got to make sure you're lined up there.
That's another level in which you'll go into volumetric view to like line it up and then go into regular view. Which is, again, volumetric view is absolutely great when it comes to those kinds of levels, just being able to line yourself up. Here's another bouncy level.
Ooh, I thought I was gonna miss the hole there. That was pretty good. All right, so this doesn't look like it, but this thing is actually a tube, and once I get in it, I can change my perspective, and you can see it's actually a cylinder. And then I can use the cylinder and ride around it to get up to this upper area with the hole.
There is a slightly faster way to beat that level within volumetric view, but it's much easier and much cooler to show off that. You can see that this level was very much not built for marble mode.
Yeah, it introduces a mechanic that doesn't actually appear later in golf mode, which is these boost pads. If you saw it, then cool, you'll actually get to see that again later in the run.
Yeah, exactly. We're almost done with Arctic here. Tears is absolutely zooming through these levels.
And here I have to slow down just a bit. If you go full, ooh, okay, I got into the hole, nice. But if you can see that slope there, and if I'm holding forward, I'm actually gonna fall out and land over and fall out. But here I'm also gonna try and do a skip here. Nice, okay, that skip is really cool. Oh, but then I had a bad camera angle for the next bit. But still, the skip sort of lets you skip needing to go into one of these little zones there, and that's pretty cool.
Exactly. Mezzanine, my beloved. I absolutely love this level. This is one of my favorites.
So this, I mentioned earlier that there are some cool things that you can do in 4D that you just can't do in 3D. And this is where they put all of those things. They just took them all and said, you know what? The theme of this world is an art museum. And there's tons of just cool art pieces around and like sculptures. Here you can see a sculpture of a Klein bottle, which you can't make in 3D without self-intersections. But this level actually has a really tight cycle. Nice, I made that cycle.
There's actually a... Go ahead.
Getting underneath that spinner is actually really difficult, but I nailed it there.
Yeah, so there's actually a lot of cycle-based levels in Mezzanine. That's kind of like one of the main mechanics behind Mezzanine. It's just a bunch of cycle-based stuff. And so you're gonna see here's going in and out of volumetric view for some of these levels, based on what is better for like the cycle that we're trying to get. Absolutely love the paintings on the wall.
Yes.
Going because the paintings are 4D themselves, and so we see whatever's in the slice that we have.
And so you know how I mentioned that all flat things in 4D are 3D? That means all of these paintings, even though they're flat against the wall, they're actually 3D objects. Like normally in our world, paintings are 2D, but that right there, hold on, I'll show it. Where is it? There's one of these that's the entire 3D Earth, but flattened against the wall. Okay, there it is, and you can see even the inside core of the Earth. But I'm focusing on the cool vibe of this. I also need to play the game. This world has such a cool aesthetic, and I love it.
Oh, it's absolutely an amazing aesthetic. These boost pads are also introduced here. I absolutely love this mechanic so much. It's very disorienting when you first play it, I will say, but I love the boosting mechanics combined with the cycles here.
And now this object right here is doing what's called a double rotation. It's not possible in 3D, it's only possible in 4 and up. It is rotating in 2 different planes independently of each other. Just don't even think about what that means. It's okay, just don't worry about it. It's okay, it's fine.
Yeah, no. If you ever like get confused during this game, it's just like don't worry about it. It'll make sense.
Now this one you couldn't really see them, but I was riding up these curved boost ramps and made it up to the top of the section there.
Yeah. I will say, like, the second half of this game from Mezzanine on, it's peak gaming. I think it's peak gaming. Like, the first 3 levels are great, but I think Mezzanine onwards is just beautiful. I absolutely love the rest of this game.
Yeah. And it starts ramping up in difficulty once we get into... Really starting from the next world, the difficulty goes way up.
Yeah. A lot of these obstacles are really hard to maneuver across, especially like in the normal 3D view, because look at them, you know? Look at the way that they're... We're not going to go into volumetric view for this one.
Yeah, this one in golf mode, those boosters give you too much speed, so you always go all the way around the loop. But here in in marble mode, you can just slow the marble down in midair and go right to the hole.
Yeah, and I do enjoy this run's like similarities in mechanics to just like other marble roller games like Marble Blast or Monkey Ball, where it's just like you have similar movements or similar strats that you can use that kind of are common across all marble roller games, but then there's the added feature of needing to maneuver in 4D, which goes back to the point that I was making. Like, yeah, this game is 4D, but you also kind of have to be good at marble rollers or good at golf, you know?
And one thing I really like about this game is, even though it's, you know, oh, am I gonna make the cycle? Okay, I was worried. Ooh. I was worried I did that too late, but we're good. Even though great. It is, you know, this is kind of a game that if you're like a math person, you'll enjoy it. But even if you're not like a math nerd, this game is still really it's still designed to be a video game, and like it's just something that you can pick up and you can learn the mechanics and build intuitions about it without needing to know all the mathematical details.
So the mathematical details are great. You can look up the dev logs. It'll explain a lot of the mechanics behind this game.
Yes, definitely watch the developer Code Parade made this game. He has a YouTube channel, and he made a devlog series detailing many things about the game, so definitely go watch that. But we are on to the next world. This is Inferno, and this is where it really kicks up.
Yeah, it's very difficult from here on out, especially because, as you can see, there's some areas that just don't have barriers, no walls. We're gonna go a lot of the time wallless from here on out.
Yeah. So especially in golf mode, little sections like that are quite challenging, because you know you're on a sloped ramp without any guardrails. So if you fall off, you land in the lava.
And that's especially difficult when you're in volumetric mode, because like in volumetric mode within the other levels, there's like quite clearly barriers where like walls are, and so you know not to go too far. Yeah. But then like those barriers are kind of like not really there, and they just look like regular blocks in midair. And so like as you can see here, like you just see the what did you call them?
The sphones. No. Yeah, okay, I missed so these are more sphones. We've got more sphones. I love the sphones. But there I had a little too much speed and I missed the hole and I whizzed past it. So yeah. Even in marble mode, the fact that there's no guard walls is very scary, and it means you can fall off.
It's a little easier to do it in this view, but when you're just in basic volumetric view, like you can see that there's like you can't really see the barrier. You can't really see like the area in which you're walking, and so that's something that's pretty difficult to maneuver. But thankfully, we don't have to worry about that here. We can just do that.
Yeah, this is one in marble mode. You can pretty much just maneuver in midair right to the hole.
Yeah, and this is another one that we can just do in regular 3D view. You don't even have to change any perspective. Nice. You're really killing this run. Can I just say?
This is actually going pretty well. I'm only 2 seconds behind PB right now, so we're actually doing pretty good.
I used to do this level in regular 3D view, and then I learned that T-Hurst does that, and it makes it so much easier to maneuver that level.
Yeah, that level's tricky because it is a volcano, and I just barely missed the hole there. It's kind of, you're riding this curved slope that's curved all around. It's like a big cone. Oh, now here I'm going to go for another cool speedrun skip. If I don't get it, it's okay. Let's see. Edge hit. Oh, I got it. Okay.
Oh, let's go.
Now, that was actually a bit slower, I think, than... You can get one that takes you straight to the finish, but if you get that edge hit, you actually don't need to use 4D. You can just do that one in 3D. And it looks really cool. I mean, come on.
It does look really cool. And you did it successfully as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. It had a few extra safety bounces in there, but I'll take that. And so here I line it up in volume view right at the beginning. Oh, I did not do a good job lining it up. That's okay. We'll just do that.
That looked great. That looked really cool, though. I will say. Like, even just playing this game normally looks cool, but, like, as a speedrun, it looks even cooler, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely very flashy.
Yeah. Here, as you can see, there's another example of just, like, the barriers just completely disappearing when you go into volumetric view. And so they just, like, the platforms that you're on are just kind of invisible. And so it can be hard. Another lineup here in volumetric view, going into 3D.
Alright, now this is an interesting one. There's this big spike here, and you gotta have enough speed to ride up the spike into this outer sort of donut. And now I'm in the outer donut, and I can roll in.
Absolutely love that level. It's great.
And here I'm going to do another interesting skip. So in volume view, it looks like I'm going to be running into a wall, but it's actually a ramp, and I'm going to use it to skip over a wall. Okay, got it. That's a bit scary because even if I get over the wall, so you can see there's a little wall, and then there's a tiny sliver of lava, and I have landed in a tiny, tiny sliver of lava too many times.
More times than we'd care to admit.
Yeah. But that's the end of Inferno. And now we're on Nebula.
Nebula, my beloved, my other beloved. Mezzanine was my first beloved, but Nebula is my second beloved. We get introduced to gravity changing. As you can see, there are these like colorful parts of the level that kind of look like, you know, a roller rink carpet that just change gravity whenever you walk on them. And so that's something that we're going to be introduced to here. It's a very nice one.
If you've ever played the game Marble It Up, it works exactly the same. So when you touch it, it makes it so that is the new down. So boom, that's the new down. Boom, that's the new down. And we go into the finish. But yes, I will say I do love the arcade carpet floor vibe in this in this world.
Right? That's like the first thing that I mentioned
when
I played this game for the first time.
So here I have to not go too fast, because if I go too fast, actually I roll off. Oh, let's not do that. You will basically go too fast and you'll roll off the edge of that and not be sticking to the gravity surface.
Yeah, and as you can see in volumetric view here, right? In this level in particular, because the level goes in on itself a lot, and also it incorporates like the gravity changing mechanic. You can see that the world morphs even when he is in volumetric view. Like he doesn't just stay in one. He doesn't like just stay, and you can see the whole level within volumetric view at the beginning, like you did with the previous levels. You can actually see the whole world morph around him as it's going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something that does not happen in normal levels, because volume view makes it so up and down is hidden. And normally up and... Okay, also, actually, I'll break it. So that that sand right there, it looks like I should be able to just go right to it. but actually it's tilted in the 4th dimension. And so I need to come over here and get on that gravity pad. Otherwise, I can't go on that sand. And now you can see that the starting platform is actually tilted in relation to the sand. So they pull a little perspective trick on you there.
Yeah, I absolutely love this level as well.
Yep, wormhole. Ooh, I got a really good line through there. And now we're on to the challenge Nebula levels. Here's a fun one. Because I'm in marble mode, I can just hop right over the wall there. I don't even need to worry about using the anti-gravity surface. Oh, I forgot to mention the anti-gravity surface in one of the previous levels. It's the same as gravity, but it makes you go opposite of the current direction. Whoa! That right there was actually really clean. I almost never land right in that. I almost always need to go around.
Yeah, as you can see here, this is a very nice one that you can just do in 3D. Especially in these next levels, if you can just do one in 3D, that's like
no, that one I had to do a turn midway, but it's pretty close. No pressure. I'm actually on PB pace right now, but you know what? We're chilling.
Hey.
Now here, I'm going to make use of the fact that walls are very bouncy, so I could touch the top surface of a wall like that, and it bounces me way up, and I don't need to... basically, it uses less time than if I needed to bounce on the sort of carpet floor, which kills a lot of your momentum. So that was pretty clean there. This level is also quite confusing.
My god, I get dizzy looking at this level every single time that you do it.
Yeah, basically it's called Cosmic String. It's a very long string that just swirls the entire time and changes gravity the whole time. But here I do a shortcut where I just use the anti-gravity to skip straight to the final platform and avoid the whole level. Just very fun.
So cool. You're killing these last levels, I know. I don't want to jinx anything, but I'm sure we're on, pretty amazing.
Oh, nearly bounced out there. That level's pretty confusing, but this is the final Nebula level. I just have a question for everyone who's watching right now, everyone in the crowd. How are you guys feeling? We've been learning about 4D, and I'm wondering, is anyone starting to think that 4D is getting too easy? Like, just answer, is anyone thinking that? If anyone's in that boat, you think you are? That's great. If you're in that boat, you will like this next world, which goes beyond. Can you explain what this world's about?
So you see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 dimensions. There's also a secret fifth thing, a secret 5th dimension.
Surprise! This game is actually 5D now. And it's not a joke. It's not an exaggeration. This game literally has 5D physics programmed into it. And that's what we're watching right now.
Yeah. As you can see, the compass on the top right corner has grown another compass, and we now have new directions, which are known as Sursum and Diorsum, that represent, of course, the directions within the 5th dimension. And so, all the flat objects that were like 3D objects within the 4D planes, the flat objects here are actually 4D objects.
Yeah, that's some brain-bending stuff right there. And I should just mention this. 5D levels are really hard. Like I mentioned that in 4D, there's just so much empty space that the hole is really small relative to the space that it's in. In 5D, there's now another direction on top of that, and it's just even harder. And so I usually try to, go into volume view and, I mentioned the importance of getting straight into the hole and not overshooting it. In 5D, it's just... It's too hard. It's pretty much your only option to see the hole is to just hold down the space bar and, okay, that one was nice. I landed right in it, but most of the time you end up going past it and orbiting a little bit.
Kudos to the devs for making this any amount of that makes sense to people who play the game. And having it be a wonderful surprise too.
And it was a surprise. It's not advertised anywhere on the Steam page or in the devlogs. It really was a secret to everyone who played the game. And it was a really, really well done surprise.
It was. All right, we're on the final stretch of the run here. We're going to go into the last 9 challenge levels.
And these levels are challenging. because they bring back every single challenge mechanic we have seen so far and put it in 5D. So this one, it had ice.
Yes. Every single mechanic that we've ever seen going to come into fruition here.
This one doesn't actually really have any mechanics. It's just a really confusing level. There. I tried to slow down just enough that I would have that would make it, but I still overshot. Because again, in 5D, it's just really hard. Now here, I'm doing a mechanic called a whirl. It's a camera movement that's unique to 5D, and it actually helps decompose this 5D level into a 4D level. I mentioned, you know, if you can decompose a 4D level into a 3D level, that's helpful. Here, you want to decompose 5D levels into 4D levels.
Camera movement in my 5D to 4D marble game is wild.
Here we got gravity level in 5D. Here I basically just do a skip, jump over to a platform, and we're already at the goal. So it's really not that bad, but it's
wild because like you can still view it in like the 4D or the 3D planes, and so like of course we as human beings only comprehend 3 dimensions, and seeing T-Hurst be able to maneuver at 5 and have it be at least comprehensible to us as 3D human beings.
And there I just did a skip. I jumped over a wall there. We're very close to the end.
Ooh. Oh
no!
Wait, what happened?
I got actually super trolled there. So what happened is the game's collision is on these outside walls to save performance. Not the entire wall has collision. So that was a bit unfortunate there. But we have 2 levels left here, and this one's actually very broken. If you just hold space and forwards, you just like get to the exit, which is funny.
And time is going to come up when T-Hurst hits the last hole.
This is the last one. So I start with a 4D rotation. And then when I get here, I do a 5D rotation. And then when I get here, I do another 4D rotation to see the hole. And that's time. That is 4D golf marble mode. It's a really, really enjoyable game. I highly, highly doubt. If you thought this was interesting, I highly recommend picking it up. You know, it starts off in golf mode, and you don't have to worry about finding the fastest strats or anything, right? Just if you want to pick up the game, play it in golf mode, play through as much as you can. Like, it's really a worthwhile experience.
It's an absolutely amazing game. Code Parade did a great job on it. They really did.
Yeah. And I'll give some shout-outs as well. This game has a pretty competitive IL leaderboard. I had a bunch of world records at one point, then another Epic Marble or M2K stole every single one of them for me, which I knew was going to happen. But yeah, it's got a pretty competitive IL scene. And this game has a bunch of custom levels as well. There's a level editor, which you can use to make custom levels, and people have made some pretty creative customs that you can play. So overall, definitely a worthwhile game.
Like go look at the devlogs, go play the game. It's absolutely amazing. Even in golf mode, there's like a competition where just getting the least amount of strokes on each level. So yeah, there's a lot. Ironically, even though we did every level, there's a lot of stuff in here that there's still left to do.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
You can go do that.
All right, I think that's just about it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, that went well. That was a PB.
What?
That was a 9-second PB. So I'm gonna have to submit this. That's kind of funny.
Are you so real? I think we should just use that as a submission.
I think so. Now? Yeah, I think this will be the submission. And yeah. I am still recording because I actually want to wrap up with one thing. There's another category which I did also make a submission for, or I'm reusing a previous one, but it's 4D golf normal courses. So instead of doing all 18 holes of every course, we can just do the first 9 holes. And I posted a donation incentive as well that we can potentially do a normal courses run and then have a donation incentive to upgrade that to all courses. So that's a possible idea as well.
Go to customize. Can I see customize? You can also have a bid war, right?
We could have a bid war for this. I don't think this is really that interesting, but I could do it, I guess.
I mean, you can always have multiple incentives for one run.
True. I'll submit it, I guess, and we'll see if people want. Yeah, so I'm gonna be at AGDQ 2025 no matter what. Ozmourn's gonna be there, so
yes, I will.
yeah, I really hope you guys consider this speedrun for AGDQ. And regardless of if it gets in, I'm really looking forward to the event. And yeah, I just want to thank you for your time, and yeah, that's about it. Do you have anything to say, Ozmourn?
No, just I hope y'all can consider this a really good run the way that I do. And I'm excited for AGDQ. Hope y'all have a good day.
Yeah.